guys? Welcome back to Strong Successful Mail. So for today, I'm going to go over this pretty entertaining email that was sent from a subscriber. This from a guy, sounds like he's probably in his mid to late 40s, I'd guess, and shares his story that happened like 20 plus years ago, probably close to 23, 24 years ago, to his bro who, like many guys, rushed in to get married to the wrong gal, too young, the whole 9 yards, because she was beautiful, charming, and her family came from a lot of money. And you're going to see in this story, to no surprise, as the saying goes, fools rush in, and she's a big giant cheater. However, our guy here partners up with his buddy who's telling the story here, and let's just say they have a very warranted dose of revenge on her. And you're going to see on multiple fronts here where this guy ultimately makes out like a bandit. Remember, she comes from a wealthy family. And that'll be an entertaining one to go over here, guys, just to show you that guys can go through some hell, but still have the last laugh if they're smart about it and rational and all that. Now, this guy and his friend here, they come from Western Europe. The guy was keeping it on the down low because he and his guy are successful guys. They're very well educated. It sounds like they come from the upper echelon of society. So he wanted to keep some things on the down low. But I believe it's a country that is known for banking, chocolate, and being neutral in world affairs. You can connect the dots there. And there are some elements of this story that may seem a little questionable, but believe me, in life, truth is stranger than fiction. So that's why I'm doing this one here. It is entertaining. So he says here, hello SSM. I've been watching your excellent videos for a while now, and I have been spreading them around with my friends and acquaintances. I'll probably be sending more experiences your way like this one. I will change some names to protect my family name, even though this experience dates back to the very early 2000s. My friend is a rather famous fellow in certain spheres, development-wise. I'm going to call him Michael. Some backstory here. When we met each other during our special gifted camp in a certain country in Western Europe. I was there because of mathematics and economics, accounting, and he was there for math exclusively. We became fast friends, which we still are to this very day. We are basically brothers. We were both very young back then, but he was poised to finish high school. He was a true savant when it came to math. I'm really good at math too, but he is in another league above me. Yeah, you're not going to beat a savant in math. Michael's family visited mine and vice versa. He already had his master's in mathematics when I started university 3 years earlier than people in my age range. Okay, you got a Sheldon Cooper on your hands. He knew I was going to do the same university, Oxford, as him, so he opted to do his doctorate there. When he got his professional doctor behind his name, he got a very lucrative opportunity in the United States in San Francisco, and this was in the very late 90s. Okay, clearly in the tech industry. So guys, you can see here they're from overseas. He didn't say specifically where, but I have an idea. Very intelligent, gifted guys. They got the one in particular guy's degree very, very early. It happens. And off one of them goes to the tech industry in San Francisco. It can happen. It was heavily research and development oriented with military connections intertwined. In no time, he got propelled to the CFO position, which allowed him to mingle and promote the company. He can sell sand to a Bedouin if needed, and the Bedouin would smile and accept it. He was raking in the connections, friends galore, though his true friends were few, and I'm one of them. Well, it's interesting how you described him as a savant, super, super intelligent, particularly in his specialties, math, and yet he said he could sell sand to a Bedouin, he could make friends. A lot of times people that are, I believe, that genius and gifted in a certain area tend to be lacking in the social skills, but you never know. I mean, look at Elon Musk. Now, that guy obviously opens his big mouth a lot, even though it's funny, a lot of the things he says. But the guy's brilliant, and obviously he can function in society, so go figure. You never know. And then got introduced to some supermodel chicks, or chicks that look like supermodels, but are lawyers and come from some old money. Okay, so he's got this high position of this company, obviously. It's probably an up-and-coming company. And he's meeting a lot of people, all connections of wealth. This is the late 90s in San Francisco and the whole San Fran, Silicon Valley, that type of thing. So, yeah, he's meeting people. And obviously, where the money is, you're going to find good-looking women. When I came to visit Michael during summer, he had moved to one of the wealthier parts of town and now had a fiancée. What? He already has a fiancée? He only knew her for around 7 months, but she was different, and she comes from Texas Gold, and her family is fine. That was the mindset. I told him that, don't you think it's moving a bit too fast? But he said his mom and grandma were pushing him for that. He wouldn't find a better girl anyway. And he says, gee, who put that idea in his mind? He is nuts, rushing along that quickly. And of course, grandma and mom are putting that idea in his head because they want a wedding, they want grandkids and that type of thing. And she comes from money. Well, this guy's obviously doing extremely well for himself, so guess what? He can make the money on his own. But no. But he wanted to look it all over and what my thoughts were. I have a knack for gauging people's intentions rather quickly, which has made me avoid 95% of most traps people fall into. When I met Michael's fiancée, let's call her Amanda, she seemed nice, but I had a gut feeling that something was a bit off. Trust your gut, gentlemen. It put me on guard because it is a feeling, though most of the time it's correct and can be wrong. Amanda did everything to make me comfortable because I think I gave off a skeptical vibe, haha. That is me when I meet most people for the first time back in the day. I also met her parents and her 4 other sisters. I did have a sneaking suspicion they wanted me to go for one of her sisters. Probably. European guy, very educated, successful, not surprised. Though nice looking, I detest the let's totally not ambush you while trying to rope you in with one of her sisters employ, and one was super into me. I liked her, but I knew when I got back on the plane, all bets were off. But my suspicion got waylaid by the conservative, super Christian mindset that her parents had. Well, they're from Texas after all, but just because they promote a certain lifestyle, the Christian lifestyle and things like that, doesn't necessarily mean they actually practice what they preach. Then Michael did a real impulsive thing, and in full view of her parents said, why not get married right now in a week or so? Smack! Come on, jackass. And as such, they got married, me being his best man. After that hectic couple weeks, and I got on the plane, and I was thinking to myself, why this crazy impulse action? I mean, they could have waited a bit more and got to know each other. That doubt feeling came back, but just like meeting Amanda for the first time. I couldn't put my finger on it, what set it off in the first place. Because something didn't feel right. I found it a little weird that the Christian family rushed things so quickly, especially a wealthy family, wanted to know who their daughter's marrying, but this guy obviously was a CFO of a company, and he was obviously brilliant, and obviously degrees galore and that type of thing. Who the hell knows? Fast forward to me in the middle of my second master's degree. He says in parentheses, I went for a second master's degree in this time in economics. Why? 1, I tried my hand at a job search and thought I was in the top 3 best in my year. It was extremely hard to get a job, at least one that paid a normal wage and didn't take advantage of you. And 2, I got suckered a bit into by the student office, and there was a huge push for students to remain in Oxford University for another degree. In my year as an exchange student at Yale University. Well, this must be pushing into 2000. .com bubble crashed. Economy in the tech sector takes a hit. So maybe you're thinking, okay, I'll stay in school for a little while, lay low, ride out the storm. One of the worst experiences of my life. Not only was Yale a stupendously downgrade on quality and professors, it was basically a super silver spoon clique, where if one of the rich kids got mad because you scored higher, not just me, every exchange student scored higher, complained to the professor as such, and sometimes they switched your scores. We complained, but the Yale University said deal with it. Why am I not surprised? So I decided that instead of me going to classes, I would tour the U.S. and visit all the states while meeting up with other friends and family in the U.S. I also surprise visited Michael's company, where he worked. Despite nearly taking daily trips through apps and emails, he looked really worn down and a bit run down. I never seen him like that. He was glad to see me nevertheless, and I got roped into an issue that got him stumped about a certain project. After a late dinner, he said, I am worried about Amanda cheating on me. Really? No shit. The same Amanda you rushed into a relationship with, rushed to get engaged to, rushed to get married to. Beautiful. I'm sorry it happened to him, but he was being a bonehead rushing in so quickly. But obviously his social skills were a little off here. So we talked a lot, and I connected him to a close lawyer friend of mine who also moved to California. After some sniffing around for about 3 days, we found that yes, she was cheating on him with 9 guys. 9 guys? How could she possibly juggle 9 sausages that easily? It broke him completely, so I said, you know what? Let's go away for a week so we can digest it all. He agreed, and we emailed his wife, and she immediately said, yes, dear, go hang out with your friend. Yeah, because she's like, all right, I can now hook up with some of these guys over the weekend. Before we left, he made a quick stop at his mansion. Obviously, they live in a mansion because their family is super rich. Amanda wasn't there, so I said, let's start collecting evidence. Michael was just shrugging in a you do what you want thing type of bro thing. I'm just here to get some clothes. I copied her computer's hard drive, found her phone, which I just sprinkled some flour onto to guess her password. It was 1122, seriously. And copied every message board, and sites she visited. Took about 1.5 hours to do all that. Then we went to the mountains. We stopped at a local liquor store and got a crap ton of unhealthy snacks, steaks, and other stuff. Okay, go out for the weekend, blow off some steam. Some bros camping, good. That night we got all shit-faced drunk, which was a great idea at the time until the next morning. We were shouting groceries on either side of the cabin. We talked a lot about what to do and how to move on, so I looped in my lawyer friend from before. It was the weekend, so he came and hung out with the two of us. After long talks on what is legal and what is gray area with some of what is illegal. And now we came up with some evil stuff according to Michael, until I framed it in a different perspective, that he did nothing wrong, and that if someone betrayed you and then stabbed you in the back, do you still go? That is evil if I reiterate. I also told him that it is his well-being and his money, security is the most important thing right now. So now we're going to go into their evil plot to take this chick to the cleaners and get revenge. He says, here are some of the things we came up with. Number 1. Start siphoning money off starting when you get back, and do not go to the bank or an ATM. Go to a gambling hall and start with small amounts and crank it up. Then go and pretend to play some of the one-armed bandits, play act putting a coin into it. After a while, cash out and rinse and repeat to other gambling halls. Number 2, put that money someplace safe where no one else knows where it is and convert it into gold coins or bars. 3, see how much you can get away with before Amanda starts to notice the gambling addiction. So he's going to pretend to have a gambling problem. This is for the divorce. And record, back up every single thing. We even gave him a spy pen to click on and record his interactions. If plan A didn't work, it would be plan B with footage. Number 4, this came from me to see if he could get his golden parachute from his company. Turns out he could. My lawyer friend said, devious, and I like it. That is some administrative violence right there. I also added to put it into a different account his wife would not know about. The reasoning is that one that earned more than the other in a divorce will have to pay. Amanda was the acting CEO in her father's company and was on the board of a bunch of other companies, which she all got paid for the big bucks deluxe. So obviously some time has passed and they've gotten older here. Number 5, have bottles of booze, empty ones, hidden around the mansion in such a way that Amanda would find them. This was really hard because she just treated the mansion she had just bought for them. Michael's very conservative with his money as a de facto hotel room. It took us 1 month and me placing a dumpster dive bottle of Glendronach whiskey in one of her bags. She finally talked to Michael about why did I find this bottle of alcohol in my purse. We prepped him for this and he was Oscar worthy. He put it on and I am not the man I was before. Stress is getting to me, and then shied away. She didn't look too worried about it and said, we will see to that when you get some help, but never followed up on that. Okay, so he's admitting he has an alcohol problem. Oh, we'll get you some help, honey, but then nothing ever came about it because she's more focused on the 9 dicks she's dealing with. There are a couple other steps done, but I will not get into them. I remained for 6 months in the U.S., and he filed for divorce in that same time period after 4 months. It sideswiped her because the "you're being served" divorce papers was at her job, and simultaneous some of the spicy messages and photos Amanda sent to the other dudes she did the horizontal salsa with got sent to her family. Whoa! All the spicy stuff going to her family, huh? The Christian conservative family, huh? During the divorce proceedings, it came out that Michael had a gambling and drinking addiction because of her cheating. The judge threw the book at her when Amanda said, "You never told me there was a problem." The judge said, "So you were just married to some kind of transactional thing while not paying attention to your husband? Where were you? Were you ever home, ma'am?" Okay, so yeah, acting like she didn't care. As a result, he got the mansion, a large amount of money, all the cars, the big sailboat, which he sold. Amanda got utterly wrecked and also shamed for her harlotry, and even her dad actually apologized for his daughter's behavior, and they had to pay off the credit card debt. Michael in the last weeks went a wee bit overboard with gambling and boozing to the near Hunter Biden withdrawal stuff. Hunter Biden, huh? Yeah, that's a real winner. Well, it's interesting this guy made out like a bandit in the divorce on the basis that the family could have hired a good attorney for her. But then again, if he had all that evidence he sent to the family of her doing the horizontal mambo with all those guys to her family, and obviously they had proof, and also the other things about the whole gambling and drinking thing, and she was making way more money than him, then hey, you never know. Clearly she didn't have an ironclad prenup. When I left the U.S., he came with me. He siphoned off a rather huge amount of money, which he converted to gold bars, and instead of flying home, we took the same boat. Sailed from the U.S. to France, port, southern France, had to hire some seasoned professional sailors. Okay, so he must have taken a lot of money, converted into gold, if this is true, and then sailed off into France and smuggled it in, hence some major tax evasion here, but okay. Well, then again, we don't need to get into that. Now, a bit more than a decade or so later, we are business partners, and he owns one of my previous properties. Okay, so a decade or so after all this crap went down. Now the lessons of the story. It doesn't matter how hard they wave the Christian conservative flag, the less they actually are that. They are trying to convince and remind themselves what they are instead of actually walking the walk, so to speak. In other words, you're saying that this family and her in particular, and types like that, put out to the world that these conservative types with great values and all that, but they're all completely full of crap. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody that says that are full of crap, but a lot of people that certainly put off the conservative flag, if you will, are full of crap. I observed that many times throughout my life. It also doesn't matter where they come from, how wealthy they are, or so on. They are all like that. There is a side note, though. Over here in Europe, if you are in a certain upper echelon in property and wealth, and if you qualify, you can be in those super elite groups where they have their virginity under control, men and women. It's not that they actually kicked you out. I was invited into it because that is the only way you get into it. You need to have your wealth reflected in property and a certain property only. But this means that only 0.000001% are able to get into that group. I also learned here that the people that you see on TV and in the Forbes list are not actually wealthy. They are the CEOs, the faces of whatever, in order to protect the actual owners of the company. Because if the shit hits the fan, so to speak, those CEO type of faces of the company get left holding the bag of nastiness while the actual owners are out of Dodge. In other words, yes, the CEOs of these top companies around the world, yeah, they make a lot of money, but nothing compared to the true owners, the really wealthy people, the super, super wealthy people in this world, aside from a certain handful that everybody knows about, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, those types. The really super wealthy old families, you don't hear about them. You don't know who the hell they are. Well, most of the time you don't know who they are. Most people have heard the Rothschilds, need I say more. But a lot of the real wealth hides behind the scenes, let other people run the companies. They're the face of it, but the real dough is the people that own all the shares and fly below the radar. Even if women had the best guy in the world and the comfortable lifestyle without any money issues, they still try to cheat on you, unless, of course, it's the side note I mentioned above. Greetings from my country. So there you go, guys. Now, again, there's some parts of this you can say, I don't know about that, but you never know. You're going to have people from all walks of life that watch my channel, experiences that type of thing, and you can't say this doesn't happen with people in the upper echelons of society. But anyhow, that was a pretty good revenge one there, how he just played it cool, did what he had to do, but look what the guy did rushing into the marriage. He may have been brilliant in business, brilliant in math, as he said, could sell pretty much anything to anybody, but he rushed in with that girl, no doubt because she's beautiful, and he was young and dumb and a wealthy family and got the benefit from all that. But fortunately, he was able to be smart about it and get other evidence, and then look what happened. And she was making more money than him. So I guess the guy probably never got married again. So an entertaining one. We can all learn a few things. All right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you got a great story you want me to cover or a great story you want me to share? Email me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it, and I definitely will. And make sure you like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.